we have been programmed as women to think that gift giving equals a good guy, or that non-violence equals a good guy. And that's bullshit. It's so bullshit, because gift giving can be manipulation, it can be grooming, and you don't have to be physically violent to be harmful. You can be emotionally harmful. You can be mentally harmful. You can be financially harmful. You get what I mean? And the fact that we overlook these things is one of the reasons why we we tend to choose the wrong people, because it's because of how we've been programmed. So his gift giving was an actual grooming tactic. Like I said, he was hunting you. He didn't respect your no the first time he approached you. And again, a gentleman respects your boundaries. When you say no, a gentleman does not try to coerce you or push you into doing what they want. You were under the illusion that he respected your boundary because he walked off, right, after you said no. But if that were the case, he would have never approached you a second time. That's how you know he didn't respect your boundary. Because listen to what I'm saying. A gentleman respects your boundary in that if you said no, he approached you and said, hey, I'm interested in you. You said no. He is not going to come at you again in some other form with some new line or some new thing to try to convince you that he's the one. He's going to respect your decision the first time. And he's going to allow you to decide if that has changed and you come to him. Do you understand? He didn't let you do that. He didn't go on his merry life being whoever the fuck he is to allow you the opportunity to decide if you think something has changed and find him now to be someone that you want to give an opportunity to. No. Listen to what I'm saying. I'm trying to give you the signs of how you know this is a predator. He approached you. And remember what I said a predator is. A predator is a hunter. How do they hunt? I approach, which is them shooting their shot. Okay? I know it's like not a great imagery, but imagine yourself as a deer in the woods. A predator sees you. Okay? They have decided you are going to be their prey. They are hunting you. A man approaching a woman is the same as a hunter observing a deer in the field, and him coming and shooting his shot is the same as a hunter taking aim and shooting its gun at a deer. If that hunter misses his target, do you think a true hunter is going to stop hunting something that he decided is going to be his prey? No. And it's the same thing as a predator. Just because you said no does not mean a predator is going to stop hunting you. What he's going to do is the same thing that a hunter does. He's going to step back, reassess his approach, maybe even observe and watch you a little more closely if he's able to find you again, and figure out a better way to take aim at you, a better angle, closer distance, whatever it is that he thinks he needs to do to have a better chance of shooting you down, of capturing you. For a predator, that means I need to sit down and figure out how I can manipulate this person into giving me a yes. Now, men do not realize that they have been groomed and trained and programmed to be predators. They do not see in their minds, I'm dating. I see a woman I want. I'm just doing what a man does and I'm going after her. No, you're a fucking predator. Because one, a woman is allowed to tell you no. It's not hunting where just because you saw it, you think it's yours and you can have it. In humanity, if a woman tells you no, then she was not meant for you, and she is allowed to make that choice. You do not have the right to then go and be manipulative into somehow convincing her, coercing her, into somehow allowing you to have her. But that's a predator. And unfortunately, most men are predators. They are. So what he did was, he did not, the number one way you know you have a predator is if he doesn't respect your rejection the first time. If you are rejecting a man and he's constantly coming at you, he's a predator. Leave him alone. Don't ever change your mind, because he doesn't respect your word from the beginning. I said no. I don't have to say no 5 times. I don't have to say no 10 times. I don't have to say no twice. A person who respects you accepts your no the first time. They then allow you, without any extra involvement on their end, to decide if you want to change your mind. That does not mean that you said no, and so they haven't actually said to you, I want to be with you, but they're sending gifts to your house. They're sending you money on Cash App, and you know what I mean? Still sending you happy birthday texts. They're not doing anything extra that would affect your decision on whether or not you want to deal with them. They allow you to live your life on your own terms and decide if you want to give them another chance. And I'm gonna tell you what, when we've been programmed to look at all those things, the gift giving and all that, which is exactly what you said he did. That was his second shot. Let me try giving her a gift. It was manipulation. Let me do something that's going to show her I'm a good guy. And it didn't really mean that he was a good guy. It only meant that he was in study mode. How can I attract and trap this thing that I've decided I want? Because he already showed you he was not a good person when he approached you a second time. He already showed you he did not respect you. Do you understand what I'm saying? Do you see it? Do you see that? Do you see that you telling him no should have been enough if he had respect for you? She said, no, I'm not the guy that she's going to be interested in. I can accept that. Do you understand how a man approaching you a second time after you told him no, and by approach, I mean actually physically approaching you and saying, hey, you know what, let's try, you want to try now? Or giving you a gift, or sending you money, anything outside of just leaving you the fuck alone is predatory behavior, is manipulative behavior. It is trying to coerce you into changing your mind. A man who tries to change your mind about them is manipulative. And the only way, we have to understand that as women, we have women's intuition. I guarantee you, when he first approached you and you said no, you could not name or list your reasons for why you said no. And we need to understand that as women, we don't have to. It is our intuition. It is a deep inner knowing that we have, that we will just know things without knowing how we know it, and trust. And we need to trust that it's the best for us. Your intuition said, I'm not interested in this guy. This guy is not for me. But then, because of the society we lived in, we have been trained and programmed to accept coercive behaviors in order to change our minds, in order to get us to not trust our intuition. Do you see how that happened? Your intuition said no when he approached you. Your intuition knew this is not really a good guy. You don't want it. But here he comes, first red flag missed, not respecting your boundaries when you said no the first time, with here's flag number 2, manipulative tactic of gift giving, to red flag number 3, coerce you into believing that he is a good guy when your intuition already told you no, and giving him a chance. Our job, our goal right now as women is learning how to trust our intuition. We don't have to know the details. We don't have to be able to list where the information came from. We just have to trust it the first time. No. Go with our first thought. It is the truth. So, the number one lesson for you right now is, how do I trust my intuition? Let me start being more mindful of when I convince myself to not follow my intuition. How often do I go with my second or third or fourth thought instead of sticking to my first? Because your intuition is going to be your first thought. And it comes quickly. It comes quickly. For instance, I could say, hey girl, you want to go to this party? And your first like that is like, girl, don't question it. Do you know in that moment why you said girl? No, don't need to. You know that whatever is guiding you, and we have to trust that we are guided. Okay? God did not bestow the gracious role of motherhood upon us because we were just on autopilot. We are guided by something very sacred. And it knows. It don't need to contemplate. It don't need to think. It knows. My first thought is it. Anything that comes after your first thought is doubt, it's subconscious implementations, it's outside noise. So your job right now is paying attention. Start by practicing mindfulness. Pay attention to the times that you ignored your first thought and went with your second and third. And I'm not saying that you have to actually go so far as like you made a decision, then you realize, oh, I went with my second thought. I mean, in the moment. And do it with simple things. Actually, you need to do it with everything. But if it's hard to figure out where to start with the simple things. Start with someone asking you something as simple as like, oh, what do you want for dinner tonight? And your first thought said tacos. But then you go, but such and such doesn't like tacos. But your first thought was tacos. That's what you want. Living in your truth is part of our intuition. Why are you concerned with somebody else one day? They didn't ask you what somebody else wanted. They asked you, what do you want? Your intuition said tacos. Go with it because that's what you want. So start with simple things. But right now it's about you being aware through mindfulness of how often you ignore your intuition. You are at a point where this is a whole scenario, someone approaching you, you said no. Fast forward, now hindsight is 2020. You realize he wasn't a good guy. But do you see that you knew that from the beginning when he first approached you and you said no? Your intuition had already gave you the answer as to who this person was, but you ignored it. You allowed yourself to be manipulated and coerced into ignoring your intuition. Society teaches women to doubt their own judgment. And that is the one thing that we as women should never doubt. Ever. It is our protection. It is the most powerful gift that we have been given. And we have been trained and programmed through society to lower our defenses, which essentially makes us what? Better prey. If men have been programmed to be predators, women have been programmed to be the prey. We have been programmed to be vulnerable to coercion, manipulation, lies, so that men can hunt us and trap us. They will lie and say whatever the fuck they need to say to get you. And some of them, I need you to understand, a predator, and men have been trained to do this, they pride themselves on how good of a manipulator they are, on how good of a liar they are, to convince you to believe their bullshit and allow them to trap you. And that's why so many women find themselves in toxic fucking relationships. You're in a prison, you're trapped. They did not come after you because they were trying to take you to your heaven.